All right, welcome back. One of the cool things about Liquid Lunch for all those new people that are tuning in today, it's like a group effort. So, you know, you don't hear like Tucker Carlson or Hannity talking about the people that work behind the scenes on his show. They just, you know, keep talking and they don't credit people and they don't mock people. But I do both. And I like to, you know, bring you in. It's like a family thing. We're like all friends here. We're having a drink together. You get to know who's behind the scenes with us. And you kind of, you know, it's more like you're tuning in to see what your friends are doing today than tuning in to get some talking head reading off a teleprompter. I haven't used a teleprompter in like 15 years, to be honest with you. I just have all these notes here, and I kind of go through them. I make things up as I go along sometimes. And, you know, anyhow. Today, we're not having a stellar day in the asset category, which happens from time to time. And Vince Everett Ellison was supposed to join us, but Nico had a booking error. So we're not going to have Vince Everett Ellison today, as I advertised just moments ago. But we do have some really interesting assets that I didn't ask for in today's show, but somehow they got in, and the ones I did ask for never got in. But apparently Trump and his team were sitting by waiting for Kamala Harris to be introduced as the new vessel to stand beside Joe Biden until they decide that he's no longer useful to them. And Trump's team had the ad already, and as soon as they announced it, Trump waited. He held a press conference, and before the press conference was over, the new Kamala Harris ads from the Trump campaign were already running on television. Check this out.
Kamala Harris ran for president by rushing to the radical left, embracing Bernie's plan for socialized medicine, calling for trillions in new taxes, attacking Joe Biden for racist policies. Voters rejected Harris. They smartly spotted a phony. But not Joe Biden. He's not that smart. Biden calls himself a transition candidate. He is handing over the reins to Kamala while they jointly embrace the radical left. Slow Joe and phony Kamala. Perfect together. Wrong for America.
So, very interesting term in there, and Joe Biden has said it many times. Transition candidate. Swallow that. Drink it in. Meditate on it for a minute, okay? Transition candidate. So if you get hired in a job and they say, hey, listen, this is a transitional role, what does that mean? Simple semantics. Transitional means you're here until we change over to this, okay? By picking Kamala Harris, he's basically put it all on the table. I'm the transition candidate from moderate Democratic rule, JFK Democrats. I'm the transition candidate, and I'm going to hand this thing off to the real lunatics, the people in the elite class, the George Soroses and the Silicon Valley billionaires who want to make us a socialist country. They want to enslave most people in this country and make them work for the state. They want to control your bank account. They want to control your cash. You know what? On the cash front, I'm dead serious, okay? I don't know if you noticed this, but during the pandemic, many state bank regulators allowed banks to close branches. So they limited the places you can go to get cash, okay? Then on top of it, the branches were open. They were open only for the drive-through. Most banks, you can only take out like $1,500 at the drive-through. So by limiting the banks and the in-person banking, they've actually limited the amount of money that you can take out of your bank unless you want to drive 50 miles away to find a branch that you can walk in and take out more than $1,500. So that is all part of the Communist Manifesto. They don't want individualism. They don't want people working in private enterprise. They want the government to control your life. That's what they want. That's what Kamala Harris is about. That's what Black Lives Matter is about. That's what Nancy Pelosi is about. These people want to use Joe Biden to transition to a progressive left socialist ideology in our country. And the very freedoms and liberties that we've enjoyed for all of our lives and we want to pass on to our kids are literally in jeopardy right now. But I think, and I'm pretty sure of this, the American people are smart, okay? Many of them, you know, you see these memes out there where they're talking about sheeple and all this other stuff, but people are smart. And it's not like just walk in, pull the trigger for a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? You don't just pull the lat, yeah. You look for what you want your country to be. And for the good part of 50 years, the minority communities in this country have just gone in and pulled the lever because they were told that the Democrats are for them. I don't know if you know this, but many of the amendments to our Constitution, given the freedom to vote to all men and women, that was voted 100% for by Republicans, 100 against by Democrats. The freedom to vote, okay? Freedom, your own freedom, 94% Republicans, 6% Democrats. So throughout history, before the elite cabal decided that they were going to use Hollywood along with the CIA to start conditioning minds in this country, right around the time when Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, and behind closed doors he said, I will have these Negroes voting for me for the next 200 years. So they did legislative moves to trick the minds of the minority community and have them forget history. Forget the fact that the Civil War was fought to free the slaves. Forget the fact that Abraham Lincoln, a Republican, was the one who gave the Gettysburg Address and gave slaves their freedom. Forget that. Forget the fact that 100% of Republicans voted to give people their freedom. 100% of Republicans voted to give people the right to vote. Okay? All this is washed away in mental programming that goes on at the highest levels of our society. And there's this thin layer in between that's controlled by the media elites. It looks like there are thousands of channels on your TV out there. There's 6 companies that control all of the major media. Have you heard one person on the left-wing media mention the fact that Kamala Harris got her first job in government because she was dating the mayor of San Francisco? Nope. You're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that anywhere. You're going to hear it here, and you're going to hear it till the cows come home, and you're going to hear it until somebody asks a question, to be honest with you, because no one will even bring that one up. Do you think you're going to hear on the left-wing media that Kamala Harris is on the record saying that she will, if she gets in office, the government will get into buying back semi-automatic weapons? So they're coming for your Second Amendment, okay? And one of the things that this crazy left-wing progressive movement is not telling you is the chief economic czar for Joe Biden is Bernie Sanders, okay? Here's a guy who's done nothing in life except work in government. He's worth millions upon millions of dollars, okay? He's a millionaire. He used to say, we have to stop millionaires and billionaires from controlling our country. At the same time, he was a millionaire. We don't want these millionaires in their lake houses making all the decisions and paying no taxes. Meantime, Bernie Sanders has a lake house, and he's got a regular house. And his wife was running a university that came under all kinds of investigation for false advertising, and you know, he's part of the elite class. And just because he wears his hair messy and he makes like he's talking to the regular people, he's not. He's a socialist. He said the Sandinistas were good people. He's lauded Fidel Castro. He went on his honeymoon with his wife, Jane Sanders. They went on their honeymoon to Russia. Who the hell goes to Russia? If you're a small business owner and you're watching this thing, you may be limited in how many people you can have in your business now. Okay? You may be a restaurant owner in this country where over 15,000 restaurants have already closed permanently, but you may be one of the lucky ones who's still open and still fighting through the storm. You may be a local florist shop or a little boutique somewhere in your neighborhood or your community who you can't open for indoor retail sales yet, okay? The one thing you got to do, if you're putting the pieces together, if you understand what I'm talking about, and you're smart enough. I mean, we got one of the smartest audiences out there. And it's not the biggest audience around, but it's growing every day. And people understand. And when I say stuff that people don't think is real, they actually hit me up and say, hey, stop doing that. Why'd you have that guest on? That wasn't true. And I'm responsive to all of it. So if you want to ever get a hold of me and you're not happy with something I said, or you agree, you want a clarification, you can email me anytime. I'm on social media under John Tabacco, on Instagram, on all that stuff. I'm even on TikTok. I don't even know how to use it, but there are a couple of select dance numbers I've done on TikTok if you want to check those out. But you can message me in almost every media possible. And my email is jt@liquidlunchtv.com. Let me know what you're thinking. My team is going to let you know what they're thinking about my performance today when we come back and wrap it up with the WTF, the what the facts on what did I screw up today. I'm going to need a drink.